Welcome, everyone, to today's broadcast of Kingdom Keys to Business Success. I'm so excited to introduce to you today's speaker, Mr. Luke Lezon, a dynamic pastor, author, and communicator based out of Orlando, Florida. As a lead pastor of LifeBridge Church and founder of Key, a movement impacting thousands of young adults, Luke is known for his bold preaching and creative voice for the gospel. His book, Your Mess Matters, has encouraged countless individuals to find purpose in their life's most difficult moments. So we are so excited to have you on the show, Luke.
Yeah, so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And it's awesome. I was able to connect with Luke from Martha, also in the show. And
Yeah.
Luke is her pastor. So it's so exciting to have a pastor, to have kind of a little bit of a different story here, rather than, entrepreneurship, which I mean, it is also a type of
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we would love to know your journey. How did God call you into being a pastor?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I think everybody's got like some really interesting testimonies, obviously, like all of them are important. And I've always kind of felt like mine's a little bit boring, Natalie. Like I'll have some people with like this dramatic salvation story where it just feels very like Pauline
Yeah.
and like, Elijah spoke to them out of flaming fire in a chariot. I'm like, that's awesome. I like grew up in a Christian house. Like my mom made our family go to church growing up. Not that we were completely opposed, but it was something that felt more like dragging us to it. And so, I had a period of time early on in my life where I honestly was just like, I don't know that I'm in on this. Like, I don't think it's a
Yeah.
bad thing, kind of more of a cultural Christian than anything else, but I wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily someone who would proclaim like Christ as my Lord and Savior. And so it was interesting. I did get to a point, though, and I think we all get here, no matter what profession you're in, where I started to realize I'm either going to go this way or that way. Like, I'm either going to kind of be in on this, or
Mhm.
this is going to be the central piece of my life. And so
Yeah.
my freshman year of college, everybody was asking me to like rush to do fraternity stuff. And I remember thinking I'd probably be really good at that. And it would probably tank my life. Not that people can't do it well, but I probably couldn't.
Yeah.
And so I decided to just take like a lonelier journey and just spend that freshman year with the Lord. And I ended up at Texas A&M University, where there is a massive ministry on campus called Breakaway. It's the
Oh,
largest on-campus ministry in the country. Like 14,000 kids were packing out the basketball arena, and
wow.
we were hearing the gospel. And that was the first time that I ever heard somebody, a guy by the name of Ben Stewart, articulate things in a way that was both mentally stimulating, and it felt very intellectually, it had prowess there, but also emotionally compelling. It didn't feel like it was just overly emotional or overly intellectual, but it really like merged these things that made it feel like the gospel was congruent with every piece of who I needed to be. And so right then and there, I was like, I want to do that for other people.
Yeah.
And that's when I got really serious about my faith. Now, what's interesting though is I didn't necessarily think that was speaking. I was just like, whatever he's doing, like I want to make people experience what I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah.
And over time, that became being a preacher. And so, my wife and I we ended up doing marriage counseling with a couple that really ended up becoming a church planting conversation. And so that's how I got my start in
Yeah.
being a pastor
So you just
and
went
started
right
preaching.
into school after that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we ended up doing what we're doing. I mean, church planning is like ugly and
Yeah.
messy, and so we just jumped feet
Yeah.
first into that thing, and from there, I ended up just going all over the
Wow.
country and writing a book and doing other things that have been kind of wild. But we
Yeah.
ended up in Orlando, and we love it.
Nice. So you actually just were called to just straight up build a church rather than go and work somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we definitely felt compelled to like help build the church. I mean, like I think every parachurch ministry and all of these things are great. I think as someone who pastors a lot of entrepreneurs, the work that they do is significant. And what gives a lot of their work great meaning is that they're partnering with what the Lord is doing in the world through the church, which is his vehicle for changing the world. And so it's just something that we're like, we want to be like a stalwart community somewhere to be able to change that city and maybe the nation and the world through that place that the Lord's called us. And we found that to be here in Orlando.
Nice. Awesome. What do you feel like was so when you were in that moment, you were experiencing something profound. I guess the
Yeah.
spirit kind of coming alive. What was that like for you? Like, what did it feel like that was so different?
Yeah. I think you ever like been in a you ever been in a situation, it's like sometimes you feel like you go to buy a car and you got like a used car salesman who I'm sure many of them are great people, but a lot of times you're like, this just feels grimy. Like it just feels like you're trying to get something from me,
Yeah.
or it just feels disingenuous on some level. And I've never felt like most pastors are disingenuous or anything like that, but I definitely have felt like I don't know that what you're communicating to me is actually got anything that's more focused on the transformation of an individual than maybe participation in whatever your agenda and thing is. And in that moment, I felt like an overwhelming reality that that guy that's talking knows this God that he's talking about.
Hmm.
And that God is talking to me about what he wants me to do because of this guy's faithfulness. And I was like, I want other people to not just sit in and be like, that was a good talk. I want people to come and be like, this guy's got an amazing God. And he's like calling us all into an unbelievable mission that's ultimate and greater than anything else that I could do with my life. He very well might have me be a used car salesman, or he very well might have me like start a business
Yeah.
or work corporate, whatever. But there's an ultimate end to the temporary things that we're doing. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. It really feels like that person was really just able to facilitate, the voice,
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit right through him. And you could feel that it wasn't that person, but it was actually
Yeah.
God speaking to you.
Just
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your mission now is to help facilitate that. So how has that journey been for you? Do you specialize in anything in particular? Like what is your passion within
Yeah.
gospel?
Well, I think, it's interesting. Like I am deeply passionate about the next generation in a significant
Mhm.
way. And I think so long as the next generation's involved, we've always got a future. And so I want to make sure that I am specializing in making sure that I am great at passing the baton wherever I can do that. And so, we are, I mean, I'm younger for what I do. Everybody assumes I'm like a youth pastor or something like that, and I'm not. So I think like we have this distinct advantage where your message can be mature enough to reach people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, but just because of my age, you've got people that are interested in showing up at church because they're going, I guess if this guy is into this, like maybe there's something here for me too.
Yeah.
And so
Relatable.
we have the unique opportunity right now to connect generations, not just by their faith, but then the aspects of their faith that have a ripple effect in their worlds, to transform their spheres of influence and what they do with the gospel. And so it's been kind of amazing. I would say I've like specialized in like kingdom connection across generational lines. And that's what we're trying to do is get people who need to know each other connected to move the mission of the kingdom of God forward quicker, and we're seeing that happen in like an insane way.
Nice. That is really cool. Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to reach the next generation and kind of show them the possibilities because we're just in a time where
Yeah.
they're getting a lot of other messages from different parts of society, culture, and
Hmm.
confusing. So they need,
Yeah.
we need strong leaders like yourself to be like, this is the way, this is the better way.
Yeah. No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt.
So if you were, a lot of people watching this do have businesses,
Yeah.
and they're always asking, like, how do we partner with God? What does that even look like, in terms of life, but also in business? And what is something that you could share about maybe how you were able to step into your calling or how you know how to let God lead you?
Yeah. I think the first thing for like entrepreneurs, and I think anybody that's got a business, whether it's something that they're just like a C-suite executive or started themselves, is there's just as significant of a role to be played in what they do as what I do, which I think sometimes sounds like lip service to people. And I think we're all governed by the same thing. Like I'm studying the Bible, you're studying the Bible. The difference is I got to talk about it this weekend in front of
Yeah.
thousands of people. But I think for all of us, we're recognizing that we're collectively gathering for participation in the mission to which we've been called. And there are a lot of different things that they bring to the table. I mean, like I regularly am getting around groups of individuals, men and women, that are highly successful in what they do, because what they are is they're not just business executive. They're not just entrepreneurs. They are good stewards of
Hmm.
everything that they have in their life. Like
Yeah.
everything is a game of stewardship.
Yeah.
And so they are good stewards of their time. They're good stewards of their treasure. They're good stewards of their talents and of their people. And so we're
Yeah.
regularly trying to figure out, how do we mobilize our people in the way that you're mobilizing your people, but for an ultimate mission. And so they're great at that. But I think like the catalyst for mobilizing calling, and the way that I felt called to this is that I only have so much time. Like I mean, I've got 75 years. So like it's funny,
Mhm.
people get to 45 and they're like, man, they're having a midlife crisis. I'm like, no, they're past midlife more than likely. And so I'm at midlife right now. Like I want to be a good steward of everything that I've got, and the way that I'm going to do that is recognize uh I want to be fixated on what's ultimately going to last, and nothing's going to last like eternity is going to last. So it's easy to get obsessed with a calling that is literally going to echo on forever into eternity. And so most of it is just partnering with God's mission rather than trying to just facilitate my own agenda. And how that operates looks very specific depending on the industry, but it all has is rooted in same principles.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of looking at it and articulating it. How would you define stewardship? Because I think you're absolutely right. Anything that we do, whether you're a dentist or,
Yeah,
you work as a nanny, I mean, you can steward it. So what does that mean to you?
yeah. I think it is recognizing that all that I have has been given to me by God,
Yeah.
and taking what I've been given and multiplying it for the purposes of God. It's the parable of the talents.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
there was, and it's not comparing your talents.
Mhm.
There's an individual that's given five, an individual given two, an individual given one. And the
Right.
one that had five and two, they were both given double as a result of what they had done with what God had already given them. But the one who only had one buried it, and God took that away from him. So I think we're trying to be multipliers of what God's given. I mean, it's kind of like this. I mean, just because I like pictures and I'm more of a visual learner, it's like, God gives us trees. He doesn't give us tables. And so when you've got trees around you, what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
How are you making the most of what God's put right in front of you? And I think I want to be someone that is making sure that, hey, the things that I'm given can benefit other people, and are for God's glory in what I do. And I think that's a
Yeah.
good way to look at stewardship.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, definitely. I love what you said about first and foremost, understanding everything is from God. And
Yeah.
we have an audience of one. You're doing it for God.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just keep that in mind that it's not about you, it's not about anything else. And serve people
Yeah.
as you can.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I love that.
So another thing I was going to ask is if some people get really stuck on their kind of calling, and some people don't know what season they're in. Like, are they in a
Hmm.
season of moving forward? Are they in a season of renewal? Or, we have there's all the seasons, right? And if
Yeah.
someone was kind of feeling stuck and not knowing how to move forward, what would be something they could do to kind of make peace with that and just connect with God?
Yeah. I think a lot of it would depend on why it is that they feel stuck. But like a general principle is, I think we all have like to some degree like a mini obsession. I think for good reason of like, God, tell me what's next. Tell me what I need to do. And I think when I feel stuck, I'm like, what is the last thing that I was really clear that God told me, and to keep doing that thing well. And
Mhm.
I think,
Good. Yeah.
oftentimes when you feel stuck, you can kind of feel alone. Like you got people around you that might know it, but if you felt like you had wisdom from other people that were helping you move forward, you probably wouldn't feel stuck. And I think oftentimes there's something significant that I think people need to recognize, and it's that uh, God will get you alone in order to deepen your well, in order to make sure that more people get water. So I think like it is not unlike God to put Jonah in a whale, and make him be there probably longer than he desires. The fact that he's there in the first place is problematic in order to get him to the right place. It's not unlike God to have David in a cave for an extended period of time to make sure that he's not only going to outlive and outrun Saul, but that he's also going to be able to demonstrate his character and build it in that cave. That there are things that happen in those seasons that otherwise could not have happened. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing for a lot of people that feel stuck, whether you're an entrepreneur or otherwise. Like you can feel like you're driven. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you are driven. You are obsessed with what it is that you feel like you are supposed to be doing. And I think when things aren't moving forward, that doesn't mean they're not moving. Just
Yeah.
because you're not going forward doesn't mean you're not going deeper.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes you're like, man, I want this tree to grow. And it's like, well, sure. But if you have 100-foot tree and the roots are an inch deep, it's going to topple over. So I think it's like, how is it that I'm being deepened in this particular season where it's like I might feel stuck.
Yeah.
But as a stubborn person, you know that you got to have roots that go deep in order to make sure that you are rooted. So I think
Yeah.
that's often the case of what happens.
Yeah, definitely. It's always refining your character. Whatever you're doing, you're either
Yeah,
in a storm, you're leaving a storm, you're about to go in the storm somewhere, but it's all about refining your character. So
yeah,
there's a purpose for sure.
yeah.
And
There's no doubt.
you wrote a book, and it's
Hmm.
kind of along the lines of, what's some of the things that happen that we don't love and in our
Yeah,
lives, right? And kind of how to
yeah.
turn that into something. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with writing that book? And
Yeah, yeah. I think it's interesting. Like I found myself in many seasons and I think where I've just wondered uh, God, why is it that you're not doing something with this? It's funny. I mean, I talked to my church about this recently. Like, uh, oftentimes, like, yeah, I think we all kind of look at our life like a garden. Like, I think it's a good way to look at, what it is that
Mhm.
God's given you. Like, you feel like you've got some seed, you feel like you've got some soil, and you're like, let's do something with this. And I think that's
Mhm.
that's a lot of what being an entrepreneur is. You see a
Yeah.
blank space and you think about what could be.
Yeah.
And so you get to work and you want to see a garden that's teeming with color, teeming with life, that's unbelievably vibrant. And you want other people to partake in that, to be able to
Yeah.
come and enjoy it, to experience it, eat the fruit that's available there, all of these beautiful things. But the hard thing is when you feel like, hey, I've got good desires. Like I have a desire to be successful for the right reasons, all these things.
Mm.
Oftentimes you can get to a point in that very soil where you're like, I don't think this stuff's producing what I want to see. But like
Mhm.
I'm gardening in the soil that I feel like I've been given, and yet at the same time, it's not
Yeah.
producing the things that I have had vision for. But I know it's supposed to. Like in theory, if you plant a seed in soil, like as you tend it and keep it, like eventually crops should pop up. And sometimes it can feel like it's taking longer than you want, or you just feel like, is anything happening at all? I think,
Yeah.
and this has been, honestly something that's been really helpful with people that would listen to this show, like with entrepreneurs specifically. You get to a place where you're like, do I give up? Am I actually supposed to do this? Should I be jumping into something else? And I think, as crass as it is a
Yeah.
little bit, I mean, we had a conversation like, how crops grow? Like, you know how there's accelerated and deepened growth is oftentimes farmers will put manure on crops, literal crap on crops.
Right.
And I think sometimes for people, they're like, man, why am I in this like crap situation? Why do I feel like I'm dealing with this stuff? Why do I feel like things aren't moving? And oftentimes it's God accelerating the stuff that you're in to actually mobilize the purposes and the vision that you had in the first place. You probably didn't just get that yourself. If God really gave it to you, then He'll make you
Yeah.
go through it in order to make sure that it's made of the right stuff. And
Yeah.
so that's what we want uh, for people. And I think, even as I wrote the book, like that was the whole idea is like everybody's got messes that they feel like define mark them or that they can't escape from. And everybody is trying to figure out, hey, how do I not just deal with it, but like press through it and see something actually come to fruition as a result of it. And I
Yeah.
think I think most people just got to realize like the way that God works is not the way that we would prefer. But it always is long lasting. And I think that's why I said at the top of our time together, like I'm trying to plant trees and I will never sit under the shade of that tree. I will be dead
Yeah.
and gone and forgotten.
Yeah.
And there will be other people though that benefit as a result of that work. And I think that's one of the things that you recognize, like, hey, the mess and the stuff that I'm in matters because it's bigger than me. It's bigger
Mm,
than me.
yeah. Yeah, you're playing the long game.
Yeah,
You gotta
no, for
plant those
sure.
seeds someday.
Eternity's the long game.
Someday.
Eternity's the long game.
It really is. Yeah, no, that's great. I love that analogy. I mean, it's funny, but it's also really true. I'm a plant
Yeah,
person, as you can tell. And
I
actually,
can tell.
I use a plant analogy in the book that I wrote too, but I do love, I didn't touch upon what you just said, the part where sometimes you do have to go through the crap in order to come out the
Mhm.
other end. And
Yeah.
just like you were referring to, that character building, like you sometimes have to be in a cave or
Hmm.
in the mouth of a fish or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is really, in other words, about being able to stay focused and renewing your mind,
Mm.
staying on God's word. And it's like, yeah, you're going to go through
Yeah.
those hard times, but this is, you develop that character by where your focus is. Stay focused
Yeah.
on the long game. Like you're not, this isn't about today, it's about tomorrow, the future. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that
That's
sounds
great.
awesome. I can't wait to read that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like right up my alley for sure.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. I think
Yeah.
you made an interesting point. Like you talk about like renewing your mind, and I don't think it's an accident that you said that. It's interesting, like, renewing your mind, like in the original language, the word for like renewal of your mind is really the word metamorphosis.
Yeah.
It's where we get that
Yeah.
word. And I think like in today's age specifically, and I think especially for the audience that's tuning into this, like there's a huge issue right now of like most people are living distracted lives. And we're
Yeah.
not as focused as we think we are. Like we are just unbelievably like torn here, there, and everywhere. And a thing that I'll often say whenever I'm with people who do what you do is, hey, you got to understand. We call it paying attention because your attention always costs you something. You're going to
Yeah,
pay for
that's
where
good.
you put your attention.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing, like, but attention has compound interest attached to it. So it's like, where are you putting that? I think immediately when you can start to feel like I'm stuck, I'm in a mess, nothing is working, you can easily find yourself being distracted by what other people are doing, or, where else could I put my time, treasure, talent, energy? And the fact of the matter is, if you continue to put your time paying attention to the thing that God placed in front of you, it will grow in a compound
Yeah.
way, but
Yeah.
it will cost you one way or the other.
Yeah, that's really good. That's so good. And for you, what was something that was maybe one of your biggest challenges that God really had to kind of help push you through, whether it's something physical, illness or something, or just a mindset or something that
Yeah.
you had to heal and kind of overcome?
Well, I could I did have some illness stuff, but I think, honestly, for the sake of the audience here, one thing that I think could be helpful to understand is, I think a lot of people, you look at this is me. Like, keep in mind, I have not been a pastor in my life longer than I have been one. And I think pastors have reputations for a reason on some level, but I think you can just be like, oh man, what do you do? Like, have you grown anything? Do you understand what it's like to have to grind and do the stuff? And I get that. When I came to this church, I came to be the young adults pastor. That's what I was here for. And there was a church split for things that were outside of my control. And I think, there are a lot of good people involved. It's just that people are messy. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
any ill will towards any of these people. I didn't even know some of them very well. I literally was here for 9 months and the church blew up. So you go from 1,200 people ish. I could be off here, there about 100 people, and we went down to like 450 people. And I
Oh,
said to my
wow.
wife, like, we had more people coming to young adults gatherings than to church on Sunday. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I got asked to step in and do it. And eventually they just made me the pastor. I think your ability to persevere through hardship is going to determine the power of your impact and witness in the world. It's your
Yeah.
ability to persevere through hardship. And right now, giving up is something that you can make money off of giving up. But you can make an impact by sticking with it. And that's what I'm in it for, is being able to say, hey, like, I don't trust anybody that doesn't have calluses on their hands. I just don't think
Yeah.
there's anything I can learn from them. It's not because I
Yeah.
think they're bad people or whatever, but it's like, have you stuck with something?
Yeah.
And I think, to be here and to be sitting where we are now, it's the grace of God, but it's only because He kept me here. There are lots of opportunities
Yeah.
where we could have bounced and just been like, you know what? Fresh start, something new. But, the fact of the matter is grass is greener where you choose to water it, and we chose to water it
Yeah.
here. And we're
Yeah.
seeing what God's doing with it now, and it's nothing short of a miracle. So I
Yeah.
think same principle applies to the things that we do. It's like breakthrough is really usually something that you experience right on the other side of where you're deciding, do I want to give up or do I want to keep rolling with this? And
Yeah.
so I think this is the
Um,
opportunity for breakthrough. As a pastor, I have to give you an illustration of that I think will stick with your people, and I think it's one of my favorites. You ever heard of the Atacama Desert? You ever heard of that before?
no.
Okay, I would be shocked if you had. I hadn't. So, in Chile, the Atacama Desert is the driest place on Earth. It's so dry, in fact, that NASA and SpaceX will take rovers and different things out there to test what it's like to land on Mars and to have vehicles that will have to navigate that terrain. It looks almost foreign. And
Mm.
so there will be no rain in the Atacama Desert almost ever, like less than 0.003 inches of rain a
Oh,
year. So
wow.
it's unbelievably dry. But what's amazing, and I would ask everybody to look it up, is every 7 years there will be a random torrential downpour in this area. And all of a sudden, a place that had no life, there will be more than 200 species of flower that pops up overnight almost. And you have just these
Wow.
unbelievably beautiful colors of like violet and purple and blue and whatever. And just out of nowhere, there's this unbelievable breakthrough moment. And I think for many people, you can feel like you're trying to garden in the Atacama. And what ends up happening is that as you continue to till that work, rainfall comes, but you've been ready for it. And that's when you start to see things bloom.
Yeah, wow, that's a amazing story and really cool visual of it can really feel like you're in the desert and nothing, there's no
Yeah,
way out of it. Just desert,
right,
desert, desert. But
right.
you just keep going and then that rain will come. And it's like, are those seeds are just buried in the dirt, just waiting
Yeah.
to be watered, and that's probably how God feels. It's like it's right here. I'm just waiting for
Yeah,
you to just push a little bit further. Just keep
yeah,
going. We
yeah,
do. We live in a world that's so easy to quit. You're right, because there's another shiny object. There's another opportunity. Just like, oh, maybe I'll go do that. Maybe I'll do that. I know I've done that a million times.
yeah,
And
no
actually, it
doubt.
was God partnering with God that was like, just you're gonna do this and just do
Hmm.
this until I tell you to do something else. And having that
Right.
clarity actually was really nice because it was like, okay, I don't have to like stress and keep figuring things out. I can kind of just
Yeah,
relax and I'm gonna do this journey. It might be hard, which it has been, but there's been
yeah,
amazing fruit from it already.
no doubt.
So,
No doubt.
you know.
That's
So
so good.
I would love for everyone to be able to reach you and check out what you're
Sure.
doing. How can they do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a weird last name, so if you look me up online, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just at Luke Lezon, pretty much wherever you want to reach out and find me.
Yeah.
And then if you want to check out my book, you can look on Amazon and just search my name and Your Mess Matters, and you can purchase it there. And if you ever want to have me come hang out with you or speak or do something, you can just go to my website, just lukelezon.org, and would love to keep up with everybody that's here and just grateful to be able to share alongside some amazing people.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I can see why you're a great pastor. I can see why, Martha was like, gotta talk to him because you just definitely have a very natural, and uplifting and very, wise way of talking. So thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom on this show. I really appreciate it. Everyone, those links will be below, to his website and his book. They will be below and also in your email. So make sure you check those out. So thanks
Thank
again so much, Luke, for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, make sure you come back for the next speaker. We're going to have some more Kingdom Keys for you. So come back, check your email for the next episode. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.